everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative, and today I'm going to be walking you through the new Floral Bouquet Wrap Bundle from HSN. So this bundle includes a die set, a 4x4 stamp set, and then a pack of 5x5 pattern papers. I absolutely love this die set because it allows you to layer and create your own flowers. And you can use these flowers in this wrap that they have, so you can create a bouquet, or on their own. Now don't forget when you get this bundle to turn your package over, because there is a handy layering guide that comes in really useful when you're trying to layer these flowers together. It also gives you diagrams of exactly how to fold your bouquet. Here's just a quick look at the stamp set with sentiments like just a note and thanks a bunch, and then there are smaller sentiments to fit on the little tag that you can attach to your bouquet. I'm going to flip you through some of these pattern papers. You have some that are more text backgrounds and then some that are geometric backgrounds. This one just has a bunch of XOXOs on it. I love the different patterns in here, and they are neutral. And what I like to do is actually grab my inks and add some ink blending over these patterns so you can create them and customize them the way you want. You're also going to get a few sheets of vellum, so if you want to create a clearer style bouquet, you can. Now I've gone ahead and I've taken those floral bouquet wrap dies and I've die cut a bunch of pieces, more than what I'm going to need for this card. But what I like to do when I have this style of die is to just cut a bunch, and then I can keep the pieces and have enough to make a bunch of cards. So here's the first flower that I'm going to show you how to layer up. This one reminds me of Queen Anne's lace. We have that a lot where I live. So I cut this from a green piece of pattern paper for the back, and then I just cut the little the tops, I suppose you could call them, from white. And there is a right side and a wrong side to these because there's a little, like a highlight notch that's cut into each of these little dots. And so you want to make sure that that's pressed in. So you want to make sure that you have your dies right side up when you're adhering these. Now the rest of these flowers could really be anything. So I grabbed some of my favorite colors for flowers. I love yellow flowers in nature as well as blues and pinks. I see them a lot. So I cut those and I'm just going to layer these together. When I'm adding these, I just use little dots of glue and just add the coordinating flower pieces right on top. Now remember that there are those layering diagrams on the back, so if you forget what goes where, that comes in super handy. And so for this flower, I just need that one center on that largest flower. And there are two different centers in the Floral Bouquet Wrap dies. They're just two little circles. One is small, one is large. That first one that I did, you just needed that one large one in that main flower. For this one though, you'll see that all three of these flowers are kind of forward facing, so you can have those centers in all of them. So I'm going to need 3 centers, one large one for the main large flower, and then 2 small ones for those smaller flowers. Now you can, if you want to, you can vary the colors on these stems. I tended to keep them all the same color for each little bunch of flowers, but if you wanted to, you could have a pink, a yellow, and a blue all together on one different stem here. This little flower is probably my favorite because I love when you're walking along the sidewalks or when you see a garden and there's these tiny little flowers amongst all the big ones. I always gravitate towards the little ones, so this one is probably my favorite in this whole die set. I cut it from yellow, which is my favorite color, and I'm going to add those little white centers to the center of each of my flowers. Again, you can vary these however you want. I just really love to have white centers on flowers. White goes with everything, and I love that little pop of brightness in the center of all the flowers. Here are all of the flowers all layered up. And now I'm going to grab that bouquet piece. So I die cut this from one of the pattern papers included in this bundle, and all you have to do is just fold on those score lines that are already impressed into that pattern paper when you use the die. I use my bone folder to just reinforce those score lines, and there you go. You have this little bouquet wrap ready to go. And all you have to do from here is arrange your flowers inside. So I'm going to spend some time and do that. This is what takes me the longest on my cards, is arranging my flowers. And once I get them arranged, I'm going to grab some masking tape. This is one of my tips and tricks that I use all the time. I grab masking tape and I place that across the center of those flowers, holding all of them in place. This makes it so that I can just grab one little thing instead of having 5 or 6 individual flowers. Once I get things arranged the way I want them to, I am never going to remember the placement. So this makes it foolproof for me, so I don't have to remember anything. I can just flip those dies over and add my adhesive and then pop that into that bouquet wrap. Now you saw that I dropped one flower there. That's okay. I'm not fussed about one flower having to piece that back together. Those are all in my bouquet wrap. And now I have this little tag that I die cut from some white cardstock, and you can see all of these little sentiments that you can add onto there. I'm going to grab a stamping platform and some black ink and just add a sentiment onto this tag. I chose the one that says "with love," but you can use whichever one you want. I grabbed some natural looking twine from my stash and I wrapped that around that bouquet 3 times, and then I also have a little bow that I tied so that it looks like that tag is attached to the bouquet with the twine. I did cheat though, and I wrapped the bouquet with the twine, and then I added that tag with adhesive, and then I placed the bow on top. I'm definitely not coordinated enough to do all of that with one piece of twine. So here's how my bouquet is looking now. I used a die from my stash and I cut a piece of craft cardstock for my background. And now I'm going to use another stamp set from my stash and just add some texture. You can do this with any kind of stamp set that you like, but I love this stamp set for adding texture. I'm just going to grab a bunch of different patterns, and I'm using my brown inks from LDRS Creative. I have a light brown and a dark brown, and just adding a bunch of different textural elements all over the background of my card. Once I have that filled up the way I think I want it to be, I'm going to grab my white ink and just add some spatters for some additional highlights and just pops of texture. My card is pretty much complete. All that's left for me to do is add some foam tape behind my bouquet and add that onto my card base. I did leave the majority of my flowers without adhesive behind the actual flowers. I just glued down the stems and the greenery so that I can pull these forward and create extra dimension without any effort at all. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that this inspires you. Remember to check out the LDRS Creative YouTube channel for even more inspiration. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Bye!